The upper coast of Texas is not a classic surf destination, and yet thousands of committed surfers chase the waves at Galveston, the Surfside area, and Bolivar Peninsula. Love for surfing runs high at these places, and expectations are scaled back. Ordinary cutbacks get hoots from the beach. Any kind of cover-up or head dip is a really good ride, and a tube or a barrel might make the entire beach erupt into cheers. Meacom's Pier was built in the mid-1960s to reach an oil drilling site. Nearly a mile, it was the longest wooden structure in the Gulf at the time. It was built strong to support the equipment, and the thick and numerous pilings made good sandbars. Surfers found it pretty quick and were surfing it by 1966. In the late 1960s, it was sold and repurposed as a fishing pier, while gaining in surfing popularity. In the mid-1980s, an actual surfer named Terry Harris bought the pier, cementing its reputation as a surf spot. Here, a dying spring swell brings warm water and clean surf to a sunny day at Meacom's Pier. In 2003, we were working on a video project to represent all of the major surf spots in Texas. And by then, social media was a thing, and we started seeing some images from Meacom's Pier that looked pretty good. I'd never been because it was always to the north of me, and in Texas, you usually go south to surf any place other than your home spot. But after seeing the pics, we wanted it in our surf project, and since heading north was going to be a leap of faith, we decided to wait until a sure thing wave-wise. In late June, Tropical Storm Bill was forecast to make landfall the following day in Louisiana. Usually a really good setup for waves in Texas, with offshore winds and clean conditions, with plenty of swell. But overnight, the storm slowed its forward speed, and arrival at the pier the next morning was met with a stiff side-on-shore wind out of the east, and it was raining, and there was no one surfing. So the decision was made to video the only thing that was going on, and that was fishing, and there wasn't much of that going on. These little bait and tackle stores were magical places to go as a kid. They usually had a wall of fame up, meaning a bulletin board with snapshots of good catches from the pier. You'd see a pic of a nice fish and think, wow, I could catch that here? They also had snacks and objects of local interest, and they usually carried tackle that worked at that specific spot. And there was always some funky old reels for sale, and who doesn't need a reconditioned fillet knife, or two? And yes, there are sharks in Texas, but they aren't a huge problem for surfers here. Some of the fishermen loved to catch them though, and there were a lot of shark fishing tournaments held on Meacom's Pier through the years.
I fish tournaments with.
All right. What's the biggest fish you ever caught on that one?
So far I just got it last year. I ain't got to land one on it. I had a 7.5 foot one.
Yeah.
In May in a tournament, and shot the hook at his mouth shooting him. Shot the leader in two, lost him, so we didn't get him in. I hang there where.
Now was that on the pier here,
yeah.
or did you go offshore?
Here.
Really?
Yeah.
Later in the morning, the rain stopped, the wind dropped, and some surfers started showing up. Sometimes currents from a storm will wash away silt on the bottom and make the sandbars better for surfing on the upper coast of Texas.
I've got a picture in my office of one that a guy lucked out and got. Right here, it's just barrel.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When was that shot?
Right here.
I mean, was that last year? Or
Oh, it was Lily.
Lily?
Or
Isidore?
one of those.
One of those two
I'm
last.
confused now. They were kind of back to back.
Yeah, exactly 1 week apart. So why do you think the bottom's getting better?
We go a long time. We just could build up too much soot, and sediment and everything from the Natchez River, Mississippi, and everything. It just gets shallow and it just turns into Everglades.
I ended up missing the best of this swell by a day. Tropical Storm Bill continued to move slower than forecast, and it was actually the following day that got the offshore winds and clean conditions, showing how difficult it can be sometimes to forecast the surf in Texas. 2 weeks later, the pier was hit really hard by Hurricane Claudette, stripping off more of the planking and destroying the pier house, making it less of a fishing pier and more of a surf-only pier going forward. The surf on the upper coast of Texas is affected by the continental shelf even more than other spots in Texas, making for shorter wave windows, and too often, the surf will be best at night and be over with by morning. So a local surfer, photographer, and videographer named Mark DeVillier put up some extra lights to see if they could surf it at night.
Shred it, Ben!
Surf knowledgeable and travel wise, Meacom's locals were fully aware of the humble nature of their surf spot. And yet they embraced it with enthusiasm and love for surfing.
That is the billiard. 20 foot long. You get the kayak, man?
Oh, yeah.
Get big, man. Get him in the tube right here. Look at that size of that. He's about to get in it. Yeah. He's in it. He's in it. Oh, he got out of it. Look, he's still. Yeah, he's still going. That's wave of the day. Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, no. Kayak guy. Oh, he made it. Look at that.
In 2008, Hurricane Ike stripped off the rest of the planking, but the pilings survived and it was still surfable. In 2009, though, the pilings were removed for no really good reason, putting an end to most surfing on Bolivar Peninsula. This was not only a recreational loss, but a cultural loss for generations of surfers. The pier had a rich surf history, and well documented, with pics and stories posted online going back to the 1960s. The good news is, a new pier's coming, and it's looking pretty good. This video was made to honor the surf community at Meacom's Pier, and all of the committed surfers on the upper coast of Texas.